Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit with Simply Orange Juice. Order on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription. And I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it, because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, don't worry about me, I called ART.
Traffic. Watch for ongoing construction on Kellogg between K96 and the county line. It can get sluggish in spots. From the Accident Recovery Team Traffic Center, that's your Odyssey Wichita traffic. Weather.
Good morning and happy Friday. Partly cloudy today, a high of 68, a light northeast breeze. After 4 o'clock through about sunset, we'll see an isolated shower or storm. Then clearing and cooler overnight, 44 is the low. Sunny and warmer on Saturday, high 72. Even warmer on Sunday with sunshine and a high of 84. That's your forecast from Storm Team 12. I'm meteorologist Jake Dunn.
Download the Odyssey app and listen anywhere.
This is my Odyssey app. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My Odyssey app is my best friend. I must use my app true.
97.5 and 1240 KFH. Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH Wichita, KNSS HD2 Clearwater, and Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey Wichita, it's Jacob Albrock. Stay right there for the latest breaking in sports talk. It's Sports Daily coming up next, exclusively on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Hey, LA Lakers, you had another chance to close out the Rockets at home, minus Kevin Durant, and this time with Austin Reeves, and a double-digit lead, and you failed again. Oh, and with the newly appointed GOAT, LeBron James. I say that because he effectively told ESPN that he was, and they still went into the tank. Rocket Jabari Smith was on record before the game as saying the Rockets are the better team, to which LeBron said, who cares? I'm too old for that bleep. Exactly. That's the problem. You're too old for that bleep, and you're gassing out while the Rockets have young, fresh legs, and their swagger is back. Now, Bron, you got to get on a plane, go back to Houston, and deal with a Game 6. I don't think I need to remind you, alleged GOAT, that no NBA team has ever choked away a 3-0 series lead. Do that, and I'm going to take you out of the two-hole in the GOAT conversation, and then the debate turns to whether or not you're even in the top 5. I'm Jim Rome. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome. Jim Rome here. True story. I married the best person I've ever met, Janet, and we've been married a long time. And the one thing that she loves above all else, I kid you not, pictures. She's constantly taking pictures of everybody and everything. Can't get enough of them. So I found the best gift ever, Aura Frames. Save on gifts that moms love at auraframes.com. For a limited time, get $25 off the Carver mat frame with code ROME. Support the show by mentioning the Jim Rome Show at checkout. Terms and conditions do apply. That's code ROME at auraframes.com.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Oh, hey ho, men. You know, I was watching the Dumont last night, and I happened to catch a fascinating documentary on Rummel, the desert fox. Now, there's a man who could get things done.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily.
No logic, no reason, no explanation. Just a prolonged nightmare. And you're invited to partake of it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into Sports Daily. Jacob Albrecht with you here on a Friday. TGIF, Max Power producing, and joining us today for the first time, making his Sports Daily debut, Brady Bowman. Brady Bowman of Eyewitness News, another double colleague here for us, is going to get in the mix with us here. And with TJ, of course, and Paul Savage. We'll have Brady in from time to time to spread his Kansas knowledge on us. Brady, glad to be here. We'll hear from Brady in just a second. But first, some housekeeping. You can get in touch with the show on KFH at 869-1240. You can call us the good old-fashioned way. You can email us at sportsdaily@kfhradio.com. You can leave us your video comments on our Facebook, YouTube, or X streams. Thanks as well for watching us on 12 News Connected. Thanks for listening to us on the Odyssey app. If you're on the app, you can leave us voice messages. We'll have all that for you and more. Everything we talk about today is what's on tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company, now featuring Caddy Snack, Wichita's golf beer. Caddy Snack Blonde Ale, refreshingly crushable, makes the perfect pairing from the first tee to the 19th hole, no matter the score. Caddy Snack reminds you to beer the ball. Wichita Brewing Company, pizza and beer made here. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Brady. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, Jacob. How are you doing on
We're
this
good.
Friday morning?
Friday.
You mentioned TJ. The pressure is on because I look over here in the corner and I see the Odyssey Newcomer of the Year, TJ Cleveland Award.
He puts that out for everybody to see, huh? Interesting strategy there.
Far as high. Maybe he did that on purpose. I don't know.
I'm a little concerned, and we'll get to know Brady here in the introduction segment. For those of you who may not have seen Brady or know Brady, I'm a little concerned because you're a world-class, typical annoying Patriots fan, and you're sitting across the table there from another world-class annoying Patriots fan. Max Power produces this show. You've been in the studio for what, half hour now?
Roughly 30
getting the
minutes.
lay of the land.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked Patriots yet?
Of course.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I think that's one of the first things I talk.
Hey, everybody! This is how you log into the computer. This is what These are what these buttons do. Also, can you believe this Mike Vrabel news? He's the best, right? He could never do anything wrong.
That was addressed. We talked about that. Talked about the little origin story because I understand Max has some Boston background. As well. I'm pure Kansas back. Well, I was born in California. We'll get into the intro stuff later, I'm sure. But yeah, I told him it came from a place of love. My elementary school crush. He traded me a Drew Bledsoe rookie card. The rest is history. Oh, it worked out. I mean, not with her, but with the Patriots, it worked out.
Drew got screwed too. Tom Brady stole his job.
I was just telling Max I was on the fence actually at that first Super Bowl, the second Super Bowl after we lost to the Packers in '96. But I was on the fence. I was kind of thinking I wanted Bledsoe to start. I thought he should start. Obviously, I was wrong and Bill Belichick was right. But
then he came on to the Dallas Cowboys for a minute. Brady, but you've got Kansas roots pretty deep here. Now you've been a Kansas guy for how long? You are a K-State graduate, correct?
Correct. Yep. Proud Wildcat. It's been a fun couple of years. Yeah, a lot to watch, a lot to not watch. But yeah, I grew up in Winfield, actually, pretty much as long as I could remember. I was born in California. My mom's from Kansas. My dad's from California. And I was born there, but I probably when I was 1.5 or 2, moved back home. Mom got a little homesick. So I consider myself California born, Kansas raised.
Winfield, Manhattan. And now you'll know this because Brady has started reporting for us on air. He's been a producer for us at 12 News for a little while. Started reporting on air. TJ and I have always known Brady as an old radio honk. And so this opportunity made a lot of sense to us and everybody here at KFH. it's fun, and get ready because you went to K-State. Therefore, people will assume that you are incapable of talking about anything but K-State, and that is, of course, not the case.
Incorrect.
You grow up around here and you watch it all. So Brady will have all the takes for you. KU, Wichita State, K-State. Grew up right down the road in Winfield. Shout out Winfield to everybody. Everybody tuned in right now from Winfield. Welcome in Brady Bowman and Max now. Max is gonna. I'm telling you, Max is just beaming over there. Just talk Patriots all day. And I hope that you are educated on 1986 Boston Bruins hockey because that's coming for you as well. And you better just be ready for it. It's coming for you. It's coming for you whether you like it or not. It's coming for you. We got a lot to talk about today. We'll talk, of course, about the Royals. They dropped the rubber game yesterday out on the West Coast. So now, they start to play a little better. They lose this series, and now they got to win the next one if they want to get to that, 500 West Coast road trip we kind of talked about before. Massive week next week. So we'll get into that. More curious decisions from Q in the lineup. We've got some other things out there as well. This is interesting timing as we see in college basketball, Duke and Amazon strike a totally individual deal with a couple of games, Amazon picking that up. It sort of follows Amazon's model, and I think it's starting to set the tone for a college basketball model, and it goes into what we talked about yesterday with this private equity and everything else. It's a really interesting story. So if you didn't see it, we'll get into that as well. Duke with a couple of games, partnership with Amazon Prime to exclusively broadcast those games. So we'll explore that as well. Speaking of college basketball, Casey Alexander, the new K-State coach, talked yesterday for the first time in an open media session. Some interesting stuff that he had to say that we'll dig through as well there. And then we're through the draft here, and it's still fresh. What does Brady think of the Chiefs draft? Are you a Chiefs fan, Brady? I know you're a Patriots fan. What is your relationship like with the Chiefs off the air? I know on the air it's strictly professional, but off the air, you dabble?
Oh, I dabble. I mean, my mom is a diehard Chiefs fan. Growing up on Sundays during the football season, the NFL, no matter who was playing, was on TV all day. Sunday night on ESPN with Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann, that crew I remember very, very well. So, yeah, a lot of pillows thrown across the living room. My mom really gets into it, gets frustrated at times. But, yeah, so really my love of football actually comes from my mom and her love of football and love of the Chiefs. So, yeah, growing up watching a lot of Chiefs. And when it comes to the draft, it seems like they addressed a lot of the things that they need to address going into that draft. Secondary, a big emphasis, especially with trading McDuffie to the Rams. So it looks like they addressed a lot of that. And, I think the thing that's really interesting about the Chiefs going into this offseason, or, it'll be training camp before we know it, the quarterback room is probably the most interesting it's been for the Chiefs in some time. You got Justin Fields in there. We don't know exactly when Mahomes is going to be 100% to start the season. And now you got Nussmeier in there. That's
hold that thought, because that's where we'll start. So it is in the books. They've had some free agency. What's left now? What's still on the offseason to-do list? What's still on the offseason wish list, perhaps, for the Chiefs, who went all in on the defense? Is there anything out there? We'll talk about it next. Brady Bowman in for TJ. I'm Jacob Albrock, it's Sports Daily. We'll be right back.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-01 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to Sports Daily. Glad to have you here with us. Longhoffer Lawn and Tree Care, celebrating 60 years in Wichita, providing expert lawn care for a healthy lawn, tree and shrub care, and bedweed control since 1966. Longhoffer Lawn and Tree Care. We come back in. Brady Bowman there in for TJ. I'm Jacob Albrock. Now, Brady, you've had radio experience. This is why we knew this would be such a great fit. You, the old radio honk, you did some Salina radio. Is that correct?
A little bit, but actually it started in Winfield, like my senior year of high school. I was interested in it and talked to some teachers about, because KSOK, who I ended up working for later, did the Winfield Vikings football and basketball games for high school. So I always thought, man, that'd be really cool to listen in on that. So talked to the station as a senior in high school, talked to teachers. They encouraged me to reach out to the station, and I thought I was just going to sit in on a broadcast, on a play-by-play broadcast, and just wear the headset and just listen in, kind of get a feel for it. And Kurt Caden, who's the voice of the Vikings, still, and the voice of the Southwestern College Mound Builders, introduces me on air and says, "What do you think about this game?" Basically just throws me in the fire. And it just kind of started from there. And always did some radio, a lot of newspaper, print background as well, but also some radio experience at K-Man in Manhattan, news talk radio, those sort of things, and a bunch of play-by-play for Arc City Bulldogs for a lot of years. So yeah, this is familiar. It's great to be back behind the mic again.
Well, we're glad to have you with us. Some news overnight, sort of. KU lands another freshman, Grant Mordini. He's not a freshman anybody's probably ever heard of. He's at least not one of the high-profile guys. But when you look at the roster, and as we, wait for Abdi Bashir perhaps to be a part of it, we're looking at a roster right now with 6 freshmen and 3 sophomores, and then a couple of seniors. This is a young group at KU. They got Tyron Stokes earlier this week, Brady. What do you think? Like, what are your when you see this offseason play out for KU? I still feel like they need something pretty significant. Now, Abdi Bashir would be probably that fit to me, but I'm looking right now at a starting lineup that at best has a couple of seniors, maybe a couple of sophomores, and but more likely a couple of seniors, a couple of freshmen, and a sophomore. That's a young group in today's college basketball. So I think, for Kansas, it sure does seem like it would make a whole lot more sense if they could get 1 or 2 more experienced guys to come in there, but we'll have to see. I don't know. I don't know if it's out there or not. We're waiting on the Abdi Bashir thing. Other than that, we haven't really heard anything else. Is this enough to you? Can they compete with this group?
Well, I think as long as you have Bill Self back there, you can compete anytime. And I think that's the biggest thing about KU right now. Right after that, another early exit in the tournament, you got a lot of KU people thinking like, maybe Bill Self's time is done. The game has passed him by. And then he lands the top recruit in the nation with a lot of good offers other places. So I think that's a big plus, positive side for Bill Self and for those who are still backing Bill Self and still believe in Bill Self. I think that's huge to nail down Stokes, considering he was the top prize, and they get that. Bashir will be interesting. That kind of seems like an easy Flory replacement. Big guy like that, big physical presence. But he could always use more experience. But at the same time, with the new world of college basketball, college sports in general, even bringing an experienced guy, he's still new to that team. Every roster seems like it's just a brand new puzzle that's put together year in, year out. So if you get somebody with a lot of experience, that doesn't mean they're still new to KU. And you're still having to get that group to gel together like you have to do every year because you have so many new pieces, and especially this season. But experience, you're never going to turn down more experience, for sure.
Yeah, and you said Bashir, you mean Mbia as not Mbia,
right.
Reeves as a potential replacement there for Flory. But yeah, man, it's just it feels like they're still a little short, and we'll see. I've been curious with the whole Stokes situation. It's been my biggest question from the beginning. Okay, they get Stokes. What does that leave them with to go still attack this roster? And I think that's the curious thing. You know, they have their meeting with Bashir. We'll see how that goes. But they need a shooter, shooters. They need depth. They need experience. They need some of these things. They won't use them all. That's the other part of this that gets a little tricky for me. You know, Bill Self, historically, he doesn't use a ton of guys in his rotation typically. So how many do they need? They made a commitment to Paul Mbia. They made a commitment to Cole Rosario. Those guys are coming back. You know they're going to play. Now they have a couple of seniors that they've brought in out of Utah and out of Charleston, and then they've got Stokes. So maybe there isn't all that room. I don't know. But it's tricky. We'll see. All right, to the top, to what we kind of teased before we came in, Brady. The Chiefs, the draft is in the books for everybody. The Chiefs have attacked it. They kind of laid their strategy out to us. Now we know what their strategy was. It was to totally try to rebuild this defense this year. They put almost all their high-value assets into drafting defensive players. They take a couple of corners and a couple of defensive linemen, two huge, massive areas of need. Then late in the draft, they get another running back, a wide receiver, quarterback. So as we look at it now, as we look at the whole offseason up to this point, it's May 1st. There are a lot of good free agents out there right now. I've seen names like Cam Jordan attached to the Chiefs. I don't know that one makes a ton of sense anymore after the draft. Names like Jawan Jennings tied to the Chiefs. I'll tell you that one to me makes the most sense and one that I flagged right away. I think Jawan Jennings is a really good player. But as we look at the Chiefs now, and we've seen the draft play out, we've seen the offseason play out, we know Patrick Mahomes is coming back from injury. Before the break, you mentioned quarterback room being really interesting. Justin Fields is, I know they took Garrett Nussmeier, but Justin Fields is option B. So what do we think about the team's chances to get back to the ultimate prize, to the Super Bowl? And if that's the goal, and I think it is the goal, clearly it's the goal, or Travis Kelce doesn't come back and all of these other things, is this enough? Is there still more to be done, do you think?
Well, that's a good question. As you look at the offseason pickups and the draft, and again, it looks like some I's were dotted, T's crossed when it comes to those needs. And you bring in Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP. That's probably one of the bigger acquisitions and something that a lot of Chiefs fans been looking at when it comes to Mahomes and how much he's had to shoulder. Really, I mean, I feel like you go back to the Tampa Bay Super Bowl in some ways, to where even though they won Super Bowls since, it's pretty much all been on Mahomes completely. On his legs too, especially the last 2 years. It's really been on his legs, where multiple games he's been the leading rusher of the team. And that's not what you want your quarterback to do. You don't want your starting quarterback to always be leading your team every game in rushing. So having Kenneth Walker there, I think that's going to help. You mentioned the defense, kind of give Mahomes and company, Kelce, maybe a little bit more confidence of knowing that, hey, the defense is going to be there in the clutch. We got some guys, secondary especially, and they addressed the defensive line as well in this draft. And with some draft picks not working out in the past, I actually looked at last year's draft for the Chiefs. I was kind of like looking through the list, and Josh Simmons is in there, but then there's a lot of guys you're thinking like, oh, well, Jalen Royals and Braden Smith. But other than that, you're looking at a lot of guys that during the season, I don't remember hearing a lot of those names, during the season. So it's also kind of proof that you never know. You never know how a draft's going to work out. You don't know until the games are played, but it feels like they've done what they needed to do to help Mahomes out a little bit, to give that running back room, get that running back stable, some pop, especially with Walker. I think that's going to help quite a bit, and take some pressure off Kelce as well a little bit, with a guy like Kenneth Walker in there, who's a bruising running back.
So we've discussed at length up into the draft, and it will continue to be a discussion, the resources now that the Chiefs have poured into the offensive line and now Kenneth Walker. If they're not telling us they're going to run the ball next year, I don't know what else to like. And I know we've done, we've all for a long time, a lot of people anyway have said, boy, it'd be nice if they'd run the ball a little bit more. They've been a highly efficient run team, but now you look at it and you're just, everything is jumping off the screen to you. They have, drafted left tackle after left tackle. Now that has more to do with Mahomes, but they already had one of the better interior lines in football. Kingsley Suamataia has moved in there and looks a lot better. They just continue to invest in the offensive line for years and years and years. It's really good. And it's a better run blocking offensive line than it's had the opportunity to show. Now you go sign Kenneth Walker and give him the 4th or 5th most money any running back has been given in an NFL offseason. He's one of the higher paid running backs in football. And you have Patrick Mahomes coming back off of a knee injury. And you just went into the draft and spent your first 4 picks on defensive players. Are the Chiefs not screaming at us without saying it out loud that they're going to look very different next year? We're going to run the ball. We're going to play defense, right? Like that's the part of this where I look at it and I look at, okay, well, what else do they still need to do? Because I think somebody like Juwan Jennings makes a ton of sense. But honestly, if they're going to run the ball as much as we think that they should, you've got Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, a couple high draft capital picks. You've got Travis Kelce. You've got, Royals, who you took last year. You just took another rookie. Do they have enough in the wide receiver room right now? I don't know. Jennings is highly talented. He would be a great fit. If he comes in, I cannot imagine it would be more than a 1-year deal. So it doesn't solve your Rashee Rice issue that's staring you in the face next year. They're getting to now maybe they can figure out a way to put him on a 2-year deal. That would be awesome. And that's where I think, like, as I look at this, if there are talented receivers out there like him who you could somehow get in on some kind of 2-year deal, backload it, don't care, because Rice probably isn't coming back next year. And while they might run the hell out of the ball this year, I think they should. I don't think they're going to do it for long because eventually Mahomes is not coming off of an ACL injury, right? But next year, you look at the team, they're not going to have Travis Kelce, probably, I think is safe at this point. I would argue that they're likely not to have Rashee Rice next year. Xavier Worthy, all the pressure in the world on him this year to show it, but he's not going to be a true number 1 wide receiver. Even if he does get much better, there's almost no world where we look at him and say, yeah, that's a dude that's going to catch 9 balls a game. So that's where I look at a guy like Jennings and I'm like, man, if they get him on a 2-year deal, it at least helps you bridge that gap to when you ultimately are going to lose so many pass catchers next year. What I don't think they're going to do, Brady, is go out and spend the $30 million a year in the offseason on a wide receiver, which is kind of the going rate right now. I don't see that out there. So it'll probably be another year of the draft and another year of a bunch of free agents who didn't really find landing spots and see if you can make them work. And that's worked out for the Chiefs pretty well over the years, to be perfectly honest. But that's a spot where I look at a guy like Jennings, I'm like, man, that guy's really talented. And he's got a track record of being successful. That's what I'd be targeting if I was the Chiefs. Is there any one of these veterans that you could get on a 2-year deal potentially? Maybe it helps you a little bit this year, and he would certainly help them a lot this year. But I'm worried about next year, what they're going to do at pass catcher. They didn't address it in the draft. It was they had too many needs to address them all. That's one they chose not to address. And next year, it's going to be a problem. I think they'll be fine this year. Rashee Rice is awesome. He's going to be great this year for them. But I don't think he's going to be here in 2027.
Yeah, I think my worry with Jennings, when he's healthy, he is legit and he can really change the game. But he's had some injury issues the last couple of years, especially last year. And I know that due to my fantasy football team. But that's another story that we won't get into because nobody wants to hear about my fantasy football team. It's not that time yet anyway. But Jennings has had some injury issues. But, kind of going back to how we started this conversation on are the Chiefs loaded for a Super Bowl run again next year? And it seems like that's kind of the point, right? I mean, you get a guy like Kenneth Walker. It seems like the big focus, offensively at least, is let's try and not make us one-dimensional, being, like I mentioned earlier, where it's all on Mahomes. A lot of those rushing yards and Mahomes' legs, I've always thought, have always been the most underrated part of this game. And clutch legs. I mean, how many 3rd and longs has he converted with his legs? But those are usually on broken plays when Mahomes is racking up a lot of rushing yards, or he's just trying to make something out of nothing. I think they're trying to address that to make it to where he doesn't have to make something out of nothing on a broken play. Hand it off to Kenneth Walker. Get some of those wide receivers in. If you can get a guy like Jennings, get Kelsey back in there and take some pressure off Kelsey as well, as far as having a running game. And let's have the defenses, opposing defenses, guess a little bit more instead of let's just spy Mahomes, basically, because we know that they can't run.
But he's not running this year, I don't think.
No, I would hope not. I would think after last year.
Well, listen, it'll always be a part of his game. I just can't imagine coming off the ACL. Now, we know, I mean, you can see this a mile away coming. That first game Mahomes gets back, he's going to break off like a 15-yard run and, flex and do all that stuff. Back. I mean, that's coming. That's going to happen. But holistically, I don't think he'll run as much this year. I think he will. Here's a couple of receivers out there, Brady. They're Steph Diggs, the aforementioned Jennings, and Deebo Samuel are all available. It makes a lot of sense to me for the Chiefs, if they can make it work, to go try to bring one of those guys in. Yeah, they need to run the ball more. I mean, at this point, it feels like just about the only hole on the roster. There are still guys like Joey Bosa out there, but you just took 2 defensive linemen. You took 2 defensive linemen last year. You got Chris Jones. You've got George Karlaftis. I feel like if that's not enough, then you need to bring somebody else in to help you draft defensive linemen. You still have Felix Anudike-Uzomah is still there. They got a boatload of defensive linemen. So I don't see that. If I look at this roster, I'm like, man, if they like the last piece to me feels like a wide receiver. They didn't address it in the draft. There's 3 veterans out there. Now, do you want to put Steph Diggs and Rashee Rice in the same room? Perhaps not. But Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings, like these guys, and we'll see what the market, because the market could price the Chiefs out on them. Like if I'm the Raiders and I just drafted Fernando Mendoza, I've got to go bring in some help, right? Whether it's Kirk Cousins or Fernando Mendoza, one of those guys has got to be a Vegas Raider, I would think. Help the young guy out a little bit. But the Chiefs could use one. And if you can get him on a 2-year deal, it looks even better. Like a 2-year incentive-laden, back-loaded deal. Incentive-laden this year, back-loaded to a bigger whatever it looks like next year when they have a little salary relief. That's what I'm looking at if I'm the Chiefs right now. Because if Rashee Rice, who's had his own injury issues, goes down, if Worthy goes down, what are they doing right now?
Yeah, figure it out.
Who's lined up at the number 2 receiver spot? Let us know what you think out there. It's Albrecht and Bowman on a Friday. We'll come back. We got more Sports Daily. Don't go away.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospitalized from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Is Sports Daily on KFH.
All right, we're back on Sports Daily right here on KFH, 1240 AM, 97.5 FM, also 12 News Connected. Jacob somewhere. We'll see where he's at here in just a little bit, but I assume we're probably going to talk some Royals here before too long, and there's a lot to talk about there as they get ready for another series, dropping the series just recently against the A's, that one on the road, but a lot to talk about coming up. Also, we're going to talk about the big news with Duke signing a deal with Amazon Prime, a streaming deal with Duke, one of college basketball's biggest brands, of course, so we'll talk about what that means as the crazy wild, wild west of the NIL era of college sports continues. And returning. Take a ball break.
Hey.
Hey.
Brady, something you'll learn is in these mornings, I am frantically in the first hour upstairs trying to get kids out the door into school. From time to time, it bleeds into the first couple of seconds of these segments.
That was fine. It was good to do. It's been a while since I've
what did you give it the old? You got Max Power in there. Did you go like old school FM DJ on the back? Welcome back in. It's Bowman and Albrock in the morning. With a little fart noise thrown in there for Max. Yeah. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning. How are you this morning? We are back. We have Brady in for the first time, filling in for TJ. Having some fun here on a Friday. TGIF, everybody, by the way. Let's talk some Royals, Brady. They fall 6-3 yesterday in the rubber game. I'm gonna lose it before the end of this season. I'm just telling you right now. I'm gonna lose it before the end of the season. If they don't stop sitting Jack Caglione on the bench, who's hitting .250, what is the absolute desire to get Isaac Collins? Jack Caglione can hit lefties. Jack Caglione can hit lefties. Jack Caglione can hit lefties. If Jack Caglione can't hit lefties, Brady, he will have been a disappointment as a major leaguer.
Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with this with Cags.
Jack Caglione, according to the Royals' own information people, has 9 home runs in his MLB career. 5 of them have been against right-handed pitchers, which means 4 of them have been against left-handed pitchers. Essentially, half have come against left-handed pitching. They will not. I don't know what Quatraro is doing. You even had Eric Hosmer, who was on the team's broadcast, paid by the team, publicly yesterday, sort of throwing a little shade at sitting Jack Caglione on the bench. You called him up early. You might even say you called him up too early last year. Out of necessity, I fully endorsed and rubber stamped that. I called for it, advocated for it. And if they don't stop sitting him down, it makes no sense whatsoever. He came in and pinch hit last night or yesterday afternoon, got a hit. But what are we doing here? There are so many different ways they can find a place in the lineup for Jack Caglione. There are especially more ways in the lineup they can find a place for Jack Caglione with Vinny Pasquantino nursing his sore back. Side note, good news, Royals fans. Pasquantino also pinch hit yesterday, which meant he must be feeling pretty good. So hopefully short term on the back tweak. But we're like, what are we doing, Brady? Like, Quatraro is just doing some stuff this year where you're like, man, like it's hard to defend it. If Jack Caglione's not good enough to play every day, you shouldn't have called him up. Like, at what point does JJ Piccolo step in and be like, yo, dude, stop with that nonsense. Let this kid hit lefties.
It's a head scratcher because, like you said, I mean, I remember when the announcement came that Cags was being brought up, and there was a lot of excitement about that, a needed injection of excitement for the Royals at the time, and he's a crowd favorite. Like you said, he's not doing too bad. He's getting some hits. He's getting some home runs. I checked the math on that. That's nearly 50% on right and left-handed pitchers. So, well, especially when you got a team that's struggling to get home runs and big hits this season, it doesn't make any sense. And a guy like Cags, especially as young as he is, well, you want to get him in the rhythm, right? Like you just kind of want to get him going, try to get him hot. And I don't understand sitting anybody is not a good way to get anybody hot. It's a good way to
now. And let's look at his splits. Okay, let's take a look at his splits. He didn't hit anybody particularly well last year, but he hit lefties better than he hit righties in some degrees. His splits are interesting. He slugs higher against left-handed pitching. So his power. So from a power perspective, he sees things differently. There's a couple of things that really stand out. He hits for a little more power. His slugging percentage is quite a bit higher from the left side. The one thing he does from the right side that he hasn't figured out from the left is how to walk. He walks a significant amount more from the right side than he does from the left side, which I think is kind of interesting. But other than that, like the batting average is lower left-handed, fine. He's hit one home run from either side this year. We're beyond the point now. Jack Caglione has played in, however many games it is. I don't know however many games it is, but he's played in enough games. Like, what are we doing? Again, this is one of the guys that when you envision opening a new stadium in downtown Kansas City, you're thinking Bobby Witt Jr., you're thinking maybe Michael Garcia. Now, you're thinking Jack Caglione. That's about it for what's on the roster right now. Like, he is a future, you imagine, cornerstone piece of your franchise. He is, he's got 5 or 6 or 7 months, whatever it is, in the big leagues now. Stop trying to protect him like that. They would have never done this with Bobby Witt Jr. Never. I don't understand the desire and the need for Jack Caglione to sit ever. He's 23 years old. He's not 19. He played college baseball, right? At a high level. Put him out there. Stop with this. He's got to. The other thing is the Royals do, and this is fine, they rotate guys around, right? We know Jonathan India is now down for the season, whatever. But you don't ever need to, force into the same lineup Lane Thomas, Starling Marte, and Isaac Collins, unless you have an injury. Jack Caglione can DH. Jack Caglione can play right field. Jack Caglione can play first base. There should never be a situation for the 23-year-old, you hope budding star, to sit down, ever. Unless he needs a day off. And he's not doing anything at the plate this year that makes you think, boy, he needs a day off. Right? That was Vinny and Salvi, not Jack Caglione.
A mental break, right? I think that was the phrase.
Yeah. Something's up here. It just makes no sense whatsoever. When I saw Eric Hosmer put that out yesterday, and he's new to the broadcast, and he's been he's been a part of broadcasting. He's had podcasts and things. I'm pretty sure that, he's an employee of the team now, but he tweets this out before the game. It's just a picture of the starting lineup and says, in my humble opinion, there's a guy with a size 17 shoe that the Royals should feature on this post daily. ! I could not agree more. We should never sit here when the Royals put their lineup out and wonder if Jack Caglione's going to be in the lineup.
Right. And this doesn't seem
ridiculous.
It doesn't seem like it's a rocket science sort of thing either.
It isn't.
Everybody seems to be in agreement, especially a voice like Hosmer saying that. Agreed. I mean, just like this whole season, there's just a lot of head scratching decisions, because when you look at things on paper, especially going into the off season with all that national hype that the Royals were getting going into opening day, you look at the roster, you look at the
12
talent.
and 19, Brady.
Yeah, and
if it's not desperation time, when is desperation time?
Can't agree more. Now's the time, because here's the thing. I was looking through the standings last night, Jacob, and crazy thing is right now, the Royals are only 3.5 games back from the wild card. They're only I think it's the same.
That's in the
for the
division
lead.
Now, Detroit and Cleveland both won yesterday. It was 2.5 yesterday.
Yeah, and no, it's a 500 record that's leading the division. So things are still in front of the Royals, but boy, you got to do something, because you don't want to just be playing catch up all year, especially going into the All-Star break.
It's so strange to me for Quatraro to be so willing to, there are certain things he will not change. Last year, it was throwing Zerpa out there for months into situations where he just kept getting shelled. And you're like, do we really have to go to Zerpa last year? The same thing. He will not touch Vinny and Salvi when they're in there at 3-4, even when they're both struggling mightily, but he'll move everybody else in the lineup around to his heart's content. He'll mix and match everything. He won't touch certain players. And then there's guys like Caglione where it's like, oh, no, it's a lefty. We better sit him down. I can't figure it out. And I say this all the time. Matt Quattro's forgotten more about baseball than I've ever known. And I know, and I've followed and played baseball forever. Like, I'm not trying to say anything like that, but sometimes, like, we're in this business to call it out, and I got to call it out. Like, it is stupid to sit down Jack Caglione at any point right now. Makes no sense whatsoever. None.
Well, especially for Q, when really right now everybody is looking at him, because you look at the roster that they put together, you look at the talent, and
two managers have already been fired this season.
Right. So it seems like everybody has done their job with the Royals organization on putting together what should be a winning roster, but it's not. So there's really only the fingers are kind of pointing one way right now. So if you're Q, you kind of think, boy, if I could help myself by just playing Cags more, he's a crowd favorite. But instead, it seems like he's just kind of making it worse for himself with the decisions on Cags so far this year.
We'll see. They get 3 more against Seattle here. Big series, obviously. And then next week just looms so stinking large. Next week is massive for this. The Royals have a good week next week, and we can probably throw everything that's happened in the trash can. The Royals have a bad week next week, and it may be over.
That's the thing, too, this season, right? It's like, I think all of us Royals fans are just like, we just want one really good, solid week, and I don't feel like we've had that yet.
It's really hard to climb out of a 12-19 month. I mean, so especially when you think about and you're trying to be predictive into the future, like, I cannot imagine that both Detroit and Cleveland will continue to hover around 500 the rest of the year. At least one of those teams feels like it's going to end up with, 90-ish wins this year. Now, so you got to keep that in mind. The Royals have got to keep pace with that, and it could be both of them. The Yankees have been really good. We've seen the Rays sort of separate a little bit. Okay, the Rays, they do this every year. Is Toronto going to continue to struggle? Right? The Athletics, Seattle, Texas all appear to be pretty good. Like, you better get it together. And you know what the best way you can get it together, best thing you can do? Play your best players.
Get Cags in there.
We do not need Isaac Collins in the lineup every day. No offense to Isaac Collins. Jack Caglione is supposed to be a cornerstone member of your franchise. Let's get him out there. See if he can help. Royals play today. We'll have more on that in the next hour and much more on Sports Daily. Jake Ball, Brock, Brady Bowman with you on a Friday.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
Canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, Stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
831001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Hey ho, men. You know, I was watching the Dumont last night, and I happened to catch a fascinating documentary on Rummel, the desert fox. Now, there's a man who could get things done.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH, this is Sports Daily.
No logic, no reason, no explanation. Just a prolonged nightmare, and you're invited to partake of it.
That's a pretty good description of the show. Welcome back in, everybody. Jacob Albrock, Brady Bowman, another hour of Sports Daily. Glad to be here with you. We're going to talk about what Duke did with Amazon Prime, what it may be setting the table for in college basketball. To me, it sort of runs in conjunction to what we're seeing the Big 12 do with private equity. I think something is brewing in the college sports world with television rights that could be very interesting, and it's why you're seeing the Big 12 be so forward-thinking on this. We'll get into that. We'll discuss what Casey Alexander had to say yesterday about this roster at KState. He has brought in a ton of players, and you've probably never heard of any of them. So what does that mean for Casey Alexander in his first year? It probably means he's getting who he wants, but we'll discuss that as well. Your calls, commentary, welcome. You can call us the old-fashioned way, 869-1240 on the KFH hotline. You can reach us via our video streams, Facebook, YouTube, X. Thanks for watching us on 12 News Connected. Thanks for listening to us on the Odyssey app, where you can leave us voice messages. You can also email the show at sportsdaily at kfhradio.com is that email address to reach the show. We're here. We're talking everything in this hour is What's on Tap, brought to you by the Wichita Brewing Company. Delano, featuring live music this Sunday. Details at wichitabrew.com. Send off your Sunday with live tunes, tasty treats, and good times at WBC Delano, your spot for spring Sundays. wichitabrew.com for more info. Wichita Brewing Company, where groups gather. All right, Brady, we come back in. We're learning about Brady Bowman in his first appearance here on Sports Daily. Glad to have Brady in with us, part of the mix with, our buddy Paul Savage, who's been in the last few days, TJ Cleveland. We like to spread our wings a little bit and get into this. Brady, the NBA playoffs are happening now. I have not admittedly paid any attention to the NBA this season, the playoffs, not much anyway, outside of the headlines, a little bit of games from time to time. Obviously been, keeping up and watching some of the young players, Flag, and Wembanyama, and I'll probably jump into the playoffs. I'm thinking in the next round things will settle in a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. Where are you right now with the NBA, Brady?
I was actually watching last night. I caught the end of the Nuggets and Timberwolves. Actually, I started watching probably 2 minutes in when Jokic got in a little bit of tussle again, and there was almost another blow up on the court again. But
he's pretty clearly frustrated, right? I think he said after the game, if we were in Serbia, we'd all be fired.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, that kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Well, it says something.
It says something for sure. How about Minnesota though? Without Ann to do what they're doing, I mean, they're making a little bit of a run. We'll see what happens the rest of the way. The Celtics losing, I think that was a pretty big upset last night with Philadelphia and Embiid. KU alum, and showing when I talk about Embiid and I think about Joel Embiid, that's an NBA player where I always wondered what if he never had the health issues that he's been having.
Man, I'm telling you.
I think he would be considered probably one of the top
I agree.
talents in the NBA.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, and he nearly had a triple-double last night, actually. So I think he was 2 assists short of a triple-double last night in that win. Last night. So that's going to be interesting. Game 7, I believe, on Saturday. I think that's Saturday night, Boston and Philly. So that'll be pretty interesting.
Yep.
As far as what I'm looking forward to most, and Jacob, I'm like you, as far as the NBA regular season, it's hard for me to kind of sit down and watch too much because I typically wait for this time of year to watch the playoffs. That's when it gets more interesting to me, when the games matter the most. I can't wait, and I hope it happens. I hope we get a Thunder Spurs rematch.
Me too. That's what I am 100% in agreement with you. I want that for this NBA season as much as I care who wins the championship. To be perfect.
Right. Because I don't have a dog in the race. I don't have like an NBA team necessarily that I'm rooting for all the time. I just like watching matchups more than anything. And that's the matchup I want to see because outside of the Spurs, the Thunder have been able to do whatever they want. They're like Golden State from, I guess more than a few seasons back now. But the Spurs have had their number, and that's a rematch, especially in a playoff setting. And I think by that time, if they meet, I think it would be the conference finals if they were to meet. So, boy, you want to talk about must-see TV.
Let's go. I'm with you.
Everybody.
I'm with you on that. I 100% agree. Like that's the one that I'm looking at where it's just like, gotta have it. Like you gotta inject that into my veins. I gotta have that matchup, because that will be, that's just going to be so good. And they play a lot during the regular season, but that's what we're looking at, right? The Thunder right now are the best team. They're defending champs. They're so deep, all the things, but then there's Wembanyama, who may, be the next evolution of basketball, whatever that succession plan was for you, whether it was Jordan to LeBron to Steph Curry, but LeBron never went away. Where does Kevin Durant fit in that? But, there's the conversation of who's that dude. Wembanyama feels like he's the best shot to do it, and maybe even more because he's such a unique creature.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like him.
No,
I mean,
and that's always
he's on
fun
the
in
rim.
sports, right? That's always the best. Whenever you get to see some, it's like Shohei in baseball.
Yep.
Whenever we get to see something we haven't ever seen before, it feels special because we've seen so many things now. Wembanyama is a special talent. He is. He is a special player that does special things. So we'll whatever his career looks like down the road, he's going to wow us right now, and we're looking forward to that.
He's a one-on-one.
Yeah. Coming up in this hour, Casey Alexander thoughts. We have our conversation about what Duke is doing with Amazon Prime. We've also got Jalen Thompson coming up this hour, our Royals insider. Just an appetizer there. We'll see if he has any good reason why Jack Caglione is ever sitting on the bench. But we'll ask Jalen Thompson that. Real quick, let's get to Casey Alexander now, just so we make sure we have the time. We got a few minutes here. You're a K-State guy, Brady. Being a K-State guy and covering the team, I know are two different things and probably provide two different opinions for you on this. But as a K-State alum, a K-State, bleeder, are you confident right now? Like, give me the K-State fans' perspective, because I feel like professionally the answer is easy. Well, let's see what he can do, right?
Sure.
Let's see what he does. But from a fan's perspective, the irrational perspective, how confident are you right now in year one of Casey Alexander?
Gosh, I just don't know. Like, I don't know how I need to feel. And, as far as being a fan, and I covered K-State when I was writing for the Mercury too. So I had to be rational from time to time as a newspaper writer. But, I think the biggest thing for K-State fandom, alum, etc., I feel like we're just all going in with no expectations, because I think there's still that recovery, if you will, from the Tang years, and the way it started with Jerome Tang right out of the gate. We're a 3-pointer away from a Final Four, and thus the expectation is set, and an expectation that Tang set for the fan base and for the program. Expect to win, get used to this, et cetera, et cetera. So I think there's a cautious sort of approach now for K-State basketball when it comes to...
You got the patience for it? Now, are you ready to make the change from Tang as a fan? Were you ready for the team to take a different direction?
Yeah, I was ready.
Okay.
To me, the press conference, or the post-game press conference, when he had a couple players and introduced him as like, these are my associate coaches now, go ahead, fire away, ask them questions. To me, that was probably the biggest eyebrow raiser for me at the time. Was kind of like, oh, things are really, the wheels are falling off if you're doing that and you're saying, hey, ask my players coaching questions. I'm designating them associate coaches. I'm like, okay, this is something's askew.
So it wasn't the calling them out and saying these guys won't be. That didn't bother, because that didn't bother me either.
Well, it didn't help, but
yeah,
that part on naming them associate coaches and having the press ask them questions when they're still just kids at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's more rational.
Yeah, and it's like,
So are you going to have, though, I think the really important question for K-State fans, are you going to have the patience? And I'm not saying I think this is going to happen, but I think it could, for K-State to finish, 14th in the Big 12 this year.
Oh, I hope that doesn't happen. That'd be awful. I understand
that we hope it doesn't happen. And you're putting faith in a new coach.
Sure.
And I do like some of the things he had to say yesterday. Basically, the gist of it, here's why he likes his players. And as far as the guys leaving, he didn't want anybody that needed to be talked into staying.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, okay.
And I'm okay with that.
I am too, but they were not good last year.
No.
Okay. And so,
and
they're not as high profile a class by any means, and they basically started all the way over with no high profile players coming in.
Well,
are you going to be okay? Are you going to have the patience to say, we got to let him build it? Because let's say they are 14th and then all the players transfer out. What are you building at that point? Have you built anything?
How can you build anything in the new era?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's harder than ever to have that patience. We'll see what happens. We'll get into that later, more on that discussion. But when we return, Jalen Thompson's in for a Friday visit on the Royals. I got some things to get off my chest, Jalen. Get ready for it.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood, written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message, so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
310-1 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems.
Why are they hiding it?
And real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite, or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say, drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
near. This is Sports Daily on KFH.
And now, digging deeper with the teams you follow, it's another Sports Daily Insider interview on.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily. We are joined by Jalen Thompson, our Royals insider here with us. Jalen, the Royals don't take the series against the A's, which means they must take the series against the Mariners if they're going to do what we thought they needed to and split this one ahead of next week's looming massive week that could make or break the Royals season. I don't think that's hyperbole at all. But they don't get it done against the A's. I can't take it with the Cags decisions. Bryce emails in. We were talking about this before you came on. Says he agrees. Sitting Cags makes no sense. 5 home runs against righties, 4 home runs against lefties, twice the at-bats against righties. He says analytics can be helpful, but at some point you have to trust your gut, and it doesn't seem like Q has any guts. Why on earth, when you guys talk to Matt Quatraro, how on earth can he still justify when you're 12-19 sitting a guy who you called up early, who clearly has as much pop as anybody in this lineup? Like, what is the justification? Because I don't think the analytics are even backing this up.
Oh, well, I mean, if you look at Jack Caglianone's numbers and his splits, he's not that good against left-handed pitchers, I'm sorry. So
he slugs higher against lefties.
You still have to look at the whole overall roster. I'm just telling you how the Royals look at this thing. To have him in the lineup every day, I know everyone's clamoring for that. Everyone's clamoring for having Jack Caglianone, an everyday player in right field. But you knew that they were going to platoon guys throughout the entire year. So when they got Lane Thomas, and Lane Thomas has been playing well for them this year,
sure,
he has to be in that lineup. So if you're going to leave Jack Caglianone in there every day, then where are you going to put Lane Thomas at? Because that means either Kyle Isbell's coming out the lineup against left-handers or Isaac Collins is coming out the lineup. And the way it's looking right now, I don't think that you want to have Jack Caglianone in right field against a tough lefty if you have a guy like Lane Thomas that hits lefties well, and that's what he does. So I understand why everyone wants Jack Caglianone to be in the lineup every single day. But in reality, this team is 12-19. This team has to win more games. And if they start winning more games and Jack Caglianone is a big part of that, then yes, he will be in the lineup. But the Royals are going to use everyone. They've always used everyone. That's Matt Quatraro's thing. He brought that with him from Tampa Bay. Everyone's going to play. So it's not going to really be a lot of everyday set-in-stone players outside of the big names, which is Bobby Witt Jr.
I got to follow here because Isaac Collins, you have to have his 207 batting average, his 568 OPS against lefties in the lineup. Why? You're 12-19.
Yes, I understand that, but he's a switch hitter, and
so what?
He's really good with hitting the ball to offense. He hasn't got off to his probably the best start that he can. But if you are going to justify putting Jack Caglianone in the lineup every day, then you're really telling yourself and to the fan base, we're preparing for 2027. That's what you're saying.
No, man, I don't agree with that at all. You're telling him we're going to do everything we can to win, so we're going to play all our best players, is what you're telling him.
So you're saying that Jack Caglianone is better than Lane Thomas against
Not Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas is fine. Why does Isaac Collins need to be in the lineup right now?
Well,
you're 12-19.
They traded for him. He was a big piece of that. They have to use him. You can't just bail on a trade after.
You're not bailing on anything. Okay, yesterday's a great example. Vinny Pasquantino's not in the lineup. You got DH and first base open for Jack Caglianone. Did Jack Caglianone forget how to play first base?
Well, they haven't used him at that position.
Why do you have to have Edwin Diaz in the lineup? Like, they mix and match everything in this lineup. To me, the guy that hits the ball probably harder than anybody else on the team right now needs to be in the lineup every day. I don't care what position he plays. I don't care who it's in spite of. You're 12-19. You called this kid up too early. When is he going to hit against left-handed pitching if it's not now? Is this his career? Like, sorry, you're going to just never play against left. Of course he's got to work it out. And he's showing you that he, at least if nothing else, has a lot of power from the left side, something they desperately lack. I just don't think it makes any sense. I don't think it gives him a better chance to win.
I get it, but let's look at yesterday's game, for example. You put Jack Caglione in the lineup. We're just going to play the game of Jack Caglione is playing every day in the lineup. You don't get those 3 hits or that RBI from Starlin Marte yesterday. So now you lose 6-2. Jack Caglione, does he do what Starlin Marte did against Jeffrey Springs? That's a question that I feel like people got to ask themselves. I know everybody wants to put Jack Caglione in there. I know Eric Hosper, he talked about it on Twitter. He said Jack Caglione should play in those games. And I get what everybody is saying. And you guys have a point. I'm just telling you from what the Royals are saying.
Yeah.
From the Royals' perspective is they have guys that they brought in to go and face left-handers. Starlin Marte, Lane Thomas. So if you put Jack Caglione in that spot, then you're basically saying that, hey, we don't really need you guys to face left-handers. We're going to go with the kid. And can you really tell an MLB veteran that you brought in that's done this for years upon years, we're going with a guy that's in his first full season over you?
I mean, are you asking me? Yes, I can.
Yeah,
if I'm 12-19 and I'm looking and we're desperate for wins right now, and Cags is one of the few guys that can provide the pop in a lineup to change a game, and we've invested everything that we have in him in the long term, yeah, that's a pretty easy discussion to have.
And I think Jack Caglione is going to be a great player. I really do. But he really hasn't shown you the pop that everyone has been.
Not in terms of home runs, but in terms of exit velocity, he has. He smashes the ball every time his bat touches the ball.
Yes, he does smash it. But are we looking for smashing the ball or getting results? And
I'm looking for run production.
In that case, Jack Caglione has not done that since he's come up with the Royals. I think that's where the line of why everyone is saying play him more and maybe he can produce more. And I get that. But if you compare him to a guy like Nick Kurtz that they just saw, same draft class, Nick Kurtz has outclassed him so far in the major leagues. And they both came up at around the same time.
But Kurtz is not sitting down ever either.
No, but he's proven that he can play every single day. So I think what people like everyone wants to see is, well, play Jack every day and then he'll show he can be that guy, right? But they did that kind of last year and he didn't show, right? And then they had to go get a guy that could hit against left-handers. So I think from the Royals' perspective, their whole thing is, we got these guys that we brought in. This is our plan. This is what we see analytically, and that's what they're going to roll with. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. Sure, play Jack Caglione every day, but the bottom line is nothing the Royals have done this year has worked. That's why they're 12-19. So.
Yeah, and with that, Jalen, you're talking about the plan. At what point do you get a feeling of any certain record? 12-19 right now, but do you get a sense of any point of what it would take for those plans that they thought would maybe work to change those plans if this trajectory continues?
Yeah, Brady. I would say that the plans for the Royals really don't have a lot to do with Jack Caglione. The plans for the Royals is to get Vinny Pasquantino and Salvador Perez hitting again, because they won't go anywhere if those two guys aren't hitting up to their standard and what they can be. Same for Bobby Witt Jr. and Michael Garcia. They have to play better than they've played so far. You get those 4 guys going in, and you've seen that they can carry the squad to a postseason berth. They did it in 2024. And really, that's the crux of this entire thing. The offense has looked better. I'm not saying that it's looked great, but it's looking better than what they were earlier in April. And it's a new month. maybe they show up against Seattle. Who knows? Seattle has a really good pitching staff and they have a great offense. So it's going to be tough for the Royals not only to score runs, but also keep runs off the board with a leaky bullpen that they have, right? But it really starts this. You got to start this month off in a strong fashion because it doesn't get easier. Like you said, you got Cleveland coming in. I think you have Detroit right after that. And you got Chicago White Sox. So that's 4, 7, 10 games against guys in the, like you said, AL Central. And could that define the season? It probably could. But the Royals just have to. They got to start winning and playing their brand of baseball. And they haven't done that. The defense has been okay, but there's been errors. And the base running has just been atrocious. And they have to fix that.
Yeah, that is an interesting. The base running thing is pretty interesting. And that's a carryover, too. They made mistakes last year. Jalen Thompson, our KC Royals insider from the KC Star. Always appreciate Jalen's insight, talking us off a ledge here. I look at the Seattle series. I feel like we're seeing what we feared a little bit, Jalen, bear out, in that the starting pitching can't be awesome every time out. Noah Cameron kind of feels like a problem in the rotation right now. We've seen really all of them at times just not be elite all the time, which is an unrealistic expectation. They've just had that good fortune the last couple of years. How concerned should we be about the starting rotation overall? It feels like we need the offense to wake up and kind of that's one of the big reasons is it's just not going to be the same pitching we've seen from the starting rotation the last 2 years.
I mean, I think if you're looking at it from the factor of we need the starters to go out and not give up 4 runs a game and give up 2 runs a game. Yeah, that's going to be a little tough to do,
right? But that's what people we become spoiled to their starting rotation, but it's not realistic.
Yes, exactly. The biggest thing the Royals need to do is score more than 3.75 runs per game, which they did a lot, pretty much in April. And if they can get to 6 runs, 5 runs per game, right? If you get to that number, maybe you're 4.5 runs per game, which would make it a little easier. Then you can overcome the pitching staff maybe having a clunker here and a clunker there. But they believe in the guys that they have in their starting rotation. And you can't really go anywhere else because the guys that you had as reserves that you had as depth pieces are injured. Ryan Berger's out for the year. Tommy John. You have Ben Kunera out for a year. He had the Omicron stress fracture surgery, right? So both of those guys are down. You have Stephen Kolek that's just working his way back in AAA. After that, who are you going to go to? Mason Black. He's been in the Royals bullpen. Linda Ravala's been in the Royals bullpen. Mitch Spence been in the Royals bullpen. So you really don't got starters to turn to. So it's going to have to be those 5 guys that you have right now to turn it around. And I think that they're going to have an off game, yes, but they are a consistent part. They've shown that they can do it in flashes. And they might not all be on it at the same time, but that's why you have to have your offense and your bullpen to overcome that. And I think right now you're starting to see the offense maybe play a little bit better. And you're seeing the starting pitching maybe take a little step back. But they have to make sure they're all on the same accord. And they're operating at the same consistency. And if the Royals can do that, then they can make the jump that everybody wants to see them make. But like we said, in reality, this team is not good right now, and they have to be better.
Yeah, Jalen, the hardest thing about baseball is putting everything together at once. And that's always a struggle. When it comes to the Royals right now, do you feel like the offense is maybe pressing a little bit and just that mental factor of the bullpen not being there in the clutch, especially, I can't remember that game, a few games back, but they had 2 outs, 2 strikes, and goes into extra innings, couldn't close it out. Would the bullpen stepping up a little bit kind of ease that pressure off the offense, or does it need to be the other way around and the offense gets going and maybe takes the pressure off the bullpen?
I think it should be the offense probably taking the pressure off of the bullpen. it's already stressful enough as a reliever to come in and try to hold a 2-run lead or a 1-run lead, or come in a tie game and get it back to your offense. The key for the Royals is it's the offense. If the offense can take off and they start hitting and they start putting runs together in bunches, then you'll start seeing the wins that everybody wants to see. But that just hasn't happened. And you look at yesterday's game against the A's, you had the bases loaded twice. You had Michael Garcia standing on third base. It took all the way to Starling Marte to drive him in. Michael Garcia started off the game with a double. He got to third base. Salvi didn't bring him in. Carter Jensen didn't bring him in. Lane Thomas didn't bring him in. It took Starling Marte to bring him in. And then if you go later on, the next inning, Michael, bottom half, gets hit in the hand with a baseball. He avoids injury there. He hits a solo home run. You're up 2-1. Got a chance, right? But then Noah Cameron has the big inning where he gives up a couple of runs, defensive mistakes. So now it's looking at 5-2 really quick. If the offense would have scored a couple of those runs in the first inning outside of Michael with the bases loaded, then it might have been a different game.
And they were the best offense in baseball for about 8 days on that homestand. So hopefully it can carry through. Reagan's woo tonight. I don't know if this is going to be the offensive, explosion we're going to get. Brian Wu, one of the best pitchers in baseball. You look at a series against the Mariners, at least you avoid Kirby and Gilbert, right? But then they're still really good everywhere else in the rotation. So the Royals have got to get it done.
It's a statement type of series. If you can win this series, then you probably feel good going back home.
I agree.
But if you don't, then it's not good.
Follow along. Jalen's asking all the questions we want the answers to. You can find it all at the KC Star. You can find him on X at Jalen Thompson. Appreciate it, Jalen. Boy, next week.
It's a new month. In baseball terms, they forgot about April. It's May now.
They seem to have gotten a little of their swag back, I will say. Real quick before we let you go in the last minute or so, Vinny Pasquantino pinch hits yesterday. Is he fine?
Yeah, he should probably be in the lineup today. They said he was feeling better even after he left the game 2 days ago. So it's a back thing. He's got to manage it. We've all had back things before. I'll just
get back things you can to make sure at my age, Jalen. It's a real problem. Hey, 3 righties. They'll face 3 righties in a row. We don't have to worry about Jack Caglione in the lineup.
Yeah, let's see what he does. If we're sitting here on Friday next week and he has 4 more home runs, then we'll see.
Don't touch it. Jalen Thompson, everybody, our Royals insider. Always appreciate the visits. Happy weekend, Jalen. We'll see you next week.
Guys. See you guys next week.
All right, we're coming back. Let's talk some college hoops when we return on Sports Daily.
Lightning, hail, tornadoes, flooding. It's the worst of severe weather, and it's coming. Spring brings warmer temperatures, but also dangerous weather conditions. Stay up to date day or night with the Storm Team 12 weather app. You'll get accurate forecasts, so you can plan ahead and stay safe, no matter the weather. Download the Storm Team 12 weather app, brought to you by Stutzman's Greenhouse.
The future of television has arrived. Next Gen TV is here with stunning video, movie theater quality sound, enhanced voice clarity, and interactive features, all upgradable for the future. Learn more at watchnextgentv.com.
The canvas of our imagination. They tell a story, clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
We are following a breaking update.
Every day, all day, stream the stories that have you talking near and far.
Whoever is behind the wheel of this bus is not stopping.
From hundreds of local reporters and meteorologists spanning the country.
Chaos here this morning at the UW campus.
Search LNL for the all-new Local News Live streaming app.
Odyssey is one of the most influential audio and entertainment brands in the nation. You already know Odyssey's iconic local radio brands in Wichita. But did you know Odyssey has the country's best collection of music, news, and sports brands? Odyssey is also a premium podcast creator, major event producer, and digital innovator. Odyssey brings people together across the country and right here in Wichita. Odyssey also delivers meaningful radio and digital audio results. Find out our story and impact at odysseyinc.com/Wichita.
Make yourself known now.
31001 in traffic pursuit.
Oh my God, here.
Investigate TV Plus begins with real people.
We investigate stories that impact you.
And inspire change every day.
Something is broken.
Real problems
Why are they hiding it?
and real solutions.
My daughter was dying in front of me.
What was your reaction when he said that?
Investigate TV Plus, weekdays at 3:30 p.m. on KWCH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With 20 plus flavors of sweet and unsweet iced tea, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Jim Rome here, lighting up your afternoons on The Jim Rome Show. Catch me starting at 2 on Wichita's #1 sports radio, Kansas Fan Headquarters, 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Mornings are busy. We're here to make your mornings better. We report the stories that affect you.
3 more hospital lies from contaminated apple juice just a day after the FDA issued a recall.
We're here to make your mornings better.
Closing east and westbound lanes of K96 for repairs.
With 12 News, you're prepared for your whole day.
Scattered thunderstorms across the state into the afternoon.
Stay a step ahead with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSCW.
Daily is on KFH.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Thanks to Crestview Country Club for being a great supporter of this program. It'll be about as good a golf weather as you can get this weekend out at Crestview. 36 holes to choose from, almost always a tee time to be had. I'm going to take my daughter out after she gets out of school today. We'll run out, play 9 holes. It'll be great. Great place for the family. All the festivities. It's not just golf. It's tennis. It's the pool. It's the summer camps. It's everything else. Give them a call if you're looking for a good thing to do for the family. Give them a call. Ask them about all the different memberships today. All right, we come back in. Let's talk college hoops, Brady. We kind of cracked the can there on the conversation of Casey Alexander. So I asked you as a fan how you were prepared to react to this. A couple of things that stand out about his conversation yesterday. Andre Kostic was the one guy who held over. Sounds like he really enjoyed his time in Manhattan. I do think Casey Alexander will get a better use of his skills than Jerome Tang was, able to do. And I think there's at least a decent chance he's the best player on the team next year. I just am. And the other thing I thought that was interesting that we mentioned, the most interesting, is Alexander's putting his money where his mouth is. This is all there. There is no high profile to any of this. It is very much want guys that want to be a part of the team. He didn't try hard to retain anybody that didn't want to be there. Ultimately, Kostic was the only one. That's all great. It's all great to hear. Team first, hoorah, here we go, yay. If they're bad, Brady, what happens then? Because I think we'd be very naive if we're now professionally observing this and not saying there's at least some possibility. Let's call it in the bottom half of the Big 12, maybe worse than that. In today's college basketball world, I know you want to build stuff from scratch. Are you going to be able to retain anybody at that point? That's the challenge of the old school coaches that build him this way. Now, Casey Alexander's won gobs of games everywhere he's been. Again, let me say publicly for the 1,000th time, I think it's a good hire. I think he's going to have success at K-State. But I'm not going to ignore the possibility that it doesn't work in year one. Will the patience be there if that happens? And then all these players he brought in leave anyway. And then you're starting over again. Because the challenge right now in college basketball is most teams in America are starting over every year. And we just saw a recruiting cycle with nothing high profile.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I mean, it is a start from scratch sort of program or college basketball world now. You're starting from scratch with NIL. You're having constant turnover. I mean, look at KU. KU's
unless you're Wichita State, apparently.
Or Wichita State, yeah. Well, not everybody can have a portal Paul.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, Casey, I think for me, again, no matter what happens this upcoming season, if it is bottom of the half of the league, it's year one, right? There's so many unknowns, and that's the way I'm going into it as a fan with no expectations.
See, no, I believe you. I believe you as a professional. I believe that you'll feel that way as a professional.
Right.
I do not believe you that you would feel that way as a fan.
Well, you've seen me in the newsroom.
Well, not just you. And yes, I would lump you in with a crazy college fan because you are. Look, you went to the school. You're an alumni. I get it. Okay. But I'm just telling you, if they have a bad year and lose all of these players, which is at least in the realm of possibility, I don't think you'll sit there as a fan and have the patience for that. Because what are you looking forward to at that point, right? In the old days, you have a bad year, those players are coming back, you can count on them getting better, right? If you now in the new day have a bad year and then lose all your players anyway, what hope then lies there?
Well, that's the landscape. You could have a good year and still.
Well, I know, but if you have a good year, you've shown that just don't worry about it. We'll go bring in the players to have a good year.
True.
Right.
True.
And so I think that's what makes this first year unfairly important for Casey Alexander. Like, you have to now give the fans something because the coach that brought in all the high profile players and didn't have good and didn't have good success, he's out now. Okay. Now Alexander's coming in and telling us it's not about the high profile players. It's about team first guys, blah, blah. Okay, great. But what if they're not any good? And that's where I am just really curious to see this play out. A guy like Chris Kleiman, who has similar upbringing to Casey Alexander, he overwhelmed him over time to have to do this every year. Like, in theory, yeah, you want to go team first and you want to do all these things, but hell, when you lose all your players every year, can you do that? And some guys thrive in it and some guys don't. Casey Alexander, to be fair, has never been put in this situation. We would have seen it next year had he stayed at Belmont because he lost all his players. Would he have lost them all if he was still the coach there? I don't know. None of them followed him to K-State, so maybe. And then we
Well,
would have had to seen what he did.
Well, I think that's the thing too. I mean, the big draw of Casey Alexander was that history of building players and recruiting players and retaining players, and then right out of the gate, guys from Belmont we expected to come over, they don't come over.
Yeah.
So going back to what you're talking about with what the expectations are, how do we deal for K-State fans? How do you deal with it if next year's a down year? I think the other thing that's going to sting more if that happens is this is a guy that we brought in to build up players. We let him go get his guys, and he didn't build them up like we thought he would. And that's kind of another thing to where you're like, oh man, like how are things looking in the future?
It's going to get real uneasy if they don't have some success this year. Really uneasy. Now, again, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it will be worse than last year. I think they will show signs as far as wins of progress. But I've got to also be honest from this chair and look at them and imagine them playing Arizona and imagine them playing Texas Tech and imagine them playing Kansas and imagine them playing Iowa State and imagine them playing Arizona State, who's put together a hell of a class, and thinking, how many of those kinds of games can they win this year? And that's where I'm a little nervous. I'll just be honest. I'm a little nervous. But I like the hire. I think he's the right guy. I think ultimately it's going to work out. But I'm a little nervous for sure about what could happen here in year one and how this can go and unravel quickly. Because we've seen it. We've just seen it before with K-State. K-State fans wanted Chris Kleiman out. K-State fans wanted Jerome Tang out. Chris Kleiman had a ton of success. Jerome Tang, maybe not so much. I get it, but he took you to an Elite Eight, and he was getting really good portal classes every year. At least he was giving you a place to start. So just the patience for this particular fan base has not been there the last few years. We'll see if it's there with Casey Alexander. The other college basketball story I want to get to before we're done here today, Brady Bowman, everybody, in his Sports Daily debut, doing a great job. So Duke and Amazon Prime put together a package, and Amazon is going to carry 3 Duke games next year. Duke UConn, Duke Michigan, Duke Gonzaga. All high-profile games, okay? So what does that mean? Well, it means Duke is Duke, and those are good games, and Amazon wants to get into the sports landscape, and they've done this, and they've, hosted NFL and NBA games, kind of off to the side, and now they're clearly doing that with college basketball. I think this is a big deal. I think this is a pretty big deal. Not just in the sense that Duke is attractive enough for Amazon to want to do this singularly, but if Amazon is doing this singularly with Duke, what does that tell us? What should we infer from that? What I infer from it is that Amazon now wants to be in the college basketball business, right? They're doing this with Duke. Amazon Prime is telling us we want to be in the college basketball business. Okay. That's probably really good news for everybody, right? All of these schools should be excited at the fact that Amazon Prime wants to do this. If Amazon Prime wants to do this, does Netflix want to do this? Does Apple TV want to do this? Does Peacock want to do more of this? These entities that we've seen, everybody knows the value in live sports, Brady. It's one of the most valuable assets in the media world because we watch it live. We watch the commercials. We don't skip anything. And so as you see yesterday's news, and I don't know how much you paid attention to this, that the Big 12 is come to a private capital investment agreement and giving schools the option to basically have a credit line at a pretty good interest rate over a period of time that just conveniently so happens to lead up to its next media negotiations deal. Amazon wanting to get into the college basketball business, Brady, tells me that, or doing this deal with Duke tells me they want to be in that business. And it tells me there's an appetite for college basketball, which I have long predicted, and others too, and we've discussed it at great length on this show. I think there's an appetite for it, and I think there's a market for it. All of this, to me, makes me think the Big 12 is being very smart and very proactive here. They're taking their money infusion, and I get the dangers and risks that come with taking capital investment money like that. Totally understand it. But everything has a huge bullseye and target on 2031 when they redo their deal. I really think they're breaking out basketball. I think that's the goal. And if Amazon and these other entities want to get in the college basketball business, there's going to be more of an appetite to do it, right? You break apart, you do a football deal, you do a men's and women's basketball deal. Everybody wants basketball. We already know everybody wants football. But if there is this much appetite for basketball at a high level, which the Big 12 is as high level as there is, in my opinion, we could see this really take off. That's why they're taking this money. And I think it's just another thing we can step back and observe and say, okay, I get it. I get what they're doing, because I think that's what they're doing. I think they're setting this up for separate TV rights deals for the two major sports.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That's obviously where things are going. When you first told me about that news with Amazon and Duke, my first thought was kind of like, of course, right? Like, of course this is happening. Of course Amazon's looking into this, like you mentioned, in the NFL with Thursday Night Football. That's the way it's going. And you mentioned that target date, 2031. The broadcast, as you and I know, Jacob, the broadcast world is just ever changing day to day, hour to hour, and streaming is where it's going on sports. And Amazon's kind of getting ahead of the game. Duke's getting ahead of the game. Big 12's getting ahead of the game. And Big 12 being ahead of the game really, gosh, for the past, 5 years or so, has helped save the conference.
Save it and position it really well,
Yes.
too, by the way.
Yes.
I think a couple of things over the next 5 years that will become fascinating. Does the Big 12 ever consider further expansion? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. To me, it's not a slam dunk either way, whether they do or they don't. But here's why I think everybody that's a fan of a team anywhere should be really excited that Amazon is doing this with Duke. Amazon is telling us they want to be in the college basketball business. If I'm a Wichita State fan, of course, the pipe dream is to join one of these major conferences. I don't know if there's an appetite for that anymore, but what it tells me is, okay, if these other entities are starting to get into it, now that's less inventory for ESPN and Fox and your traditional outlets. So to me, that tells me there's more money to be had for the for the high major conferences. You know, Amazon sweeping in, TNT sweeping in, and let's say doing some landmark basketball deal with the Big 12. What does that do? It opens the door for more money to me, to like the AAC at ESPN, because they've got to fill that inventory too.
Sure.
So I think seeing, and I know, like, I don't like Amazon, you know, I don't shop on Amazon. I do all that, you know, big bad corporations, whatever. I think that I want to see the more of this, the merrier. The more of this broadcast stuff, the merrier, because it's going to trickle down and be good for everybody. That's at least the initial thought from me, is bring it on. Bring more money to the table, because these schools need it now. Schools need it desperately.
Right. I'm always up for more basketball, more football, whatever.
Heck yeah.
More
Put it
access.
all on. That's what we're here for. All right. We got a little more Sports Daily. Don't go away, everybody. We'll be right back.